When Kate was 8, she started to develop a limp, and we had been told early on that in rare instances, retinoblastoma can manifest years later as an osteosarcoma, which is a bone tumor. So we scheduled a routine procedure to do a biopsy to confirm that her cancer had recurred in her right femur. Unfortunately, during that routine 30-minute procedure, she was infected in the operating room with staph and developed life-threatening sepsis. The difficult thing about sepsis is it can worsen in minutes. All of a sudden, somebody goes from being able to sit up and talk to you to critically ill. And they were telling us in the beginning they felt that whatever was going on with her was not related to her surgery. So a surgeon who had not done the original biopsy came in, and he took a very quick look at my daughter's wound on her leg, her incision, and he said, "This incision looks fine. There's no way this is an infection." I really couldn't believe that could be the extent of his consultation. He hadn't talked to me. We really didn't have a chance to have any real dialogue, and he left. And finally, they really threw up their hands and said, you know, there's nothing else we can find. There's no other test we can do. And the orthopedic surgeon came back, and he was still convinced that we were not looking at an infection. We actually took kind of a hostile approach, which I wish we didn't have to do. It was stressful. We got angry. We told him that we wanted him to open up the wound and explore the wound, and that we felt that every other avenue had been exhausted, and that really our daughter's life was on the line. And he said that he couldn't believe that a mom would want her child to have unnecessary surgery, but if we were going to be that insistent, he would go ahead and reopen the surgical site. 5 or 10 minutes into the procedure, her nurse came out and she said, "I just wanted to come out and tell you that as soon as we opened the wound, that pus flew out of the wound, and we've drained 8 ounces of pus from her leg." I didn't realize that any of the things that happened to Kate would be permanent. I was expecting a full recovery at that point. So she had septic shock. She was left with only 30% of her lung function. She was left with permanent heart and kidney damage. She had multi-organ failure. The hardest thing is you think a healthcare provider telling you that your child has cancer is the worst thing there could be. Sepsis to us was worse because with the cancer diagnosis, we worked as a team with our providers. We had a common goal. It was to eradicate the tumor. Sepsis took us into a whole nother realm, and we didn't work as a team with the providers. We were at odds many times. I started to write down everything that we had gone through. And one day, Kate woke up from taking a nap, and she said, "What are you always writing down in that binder?" And I said, "Well, I'm just writing down all the things we've learned through this whole process so we can keep you safe." And she looked at me and she said, "Well, you should put those things into a book or something so other people can see them." She's absolutely right. I mean, there's no reason that other families have to learn things the hard way. That's really the cornerstone of why we do this work, that other people can learn from what we went through and not have to suffer the way that she did.